Okay, hi. I think everybody got in the room. I see a few participants. So, my name is Natalie. I'm the product manager for low vision products at Humanware. I'm going to be co-hosting this webinar with Eric Beauchamp. He's the director of product management at Humanware. Today, we're going to be talking about the Reveal 16i. So I'm going to be presenting to you the product, what we can do with it, and also a few hints on what we can do with it at home, since most of us are at home. Maybe you have students that are working from home. As you probably noticed, also, I'm very new at Humanware. It's my first webinar, so I took some notes down. I'm going to be following my notes to make sure I don't forget any features to present you. So we're going to start with the description of the product. I'm going to change my camera so you can see it folded. So here it is. It's the Reveal 16i. It's folded. It's portable. I can hold it. Let me show you. So it is quite light to carry within the same house. And this one is intelligent. So it has a few extra features that you don't find in the Reveal 16. So to set it up, you place your hand in front. You pull on it. Let me move my webcam. And you move the screen in front of you. So it gives you a very nice position, ergonomic to work. Okay. It works with electricity and it has batteries as well. So I'm going to power it on. First of all, I'm going to show you the functionalities that are basic to the unit. And we're going to go into the advanced mode a little bit later. So to start with here, you have the power button. You have two speakers, the focus lock, the switch button to go to the intelligence, a zoom button, a little mic that you can barely see. You have option for contrast and volume. In the front, you have a front camera. You have a back camera for far view, and you have a camera underneath for near view. On the side, you have a USB port and an audio jack. Okay, and the screen is a touch screen. So I'm going to start with the live mode with a student homework. So it's very,
Natalie, this is
yes.
Eric. Can you just move your webcam a bit further? It looks like the focus is not perfect there.
Oh, the focus.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit better.
It's better.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I took a homework, and it has a nice ergonomy for student to write under it. And as I told you, there's an auto focus. So sometimes when you get close to the camera, the focus is on your hand instead of being on the sheet. So you lock the focus, and in that way, the student is always going to be able to read, and the focus is going to be on the page. Okay, let's use a color book. So this is a book with colors, so student can read it live with colors. They can also change the color. So we have a few colors by default: black and white, white on black, green, yellow, um, green, yellow, blue. And when you're on it, you can also change the contrast. So if you want to make it darker or more clear, it makes it easier for students to adjust the contrast as they wish. Okay, let's go back to colors. Okay, so you can zoom all the way to 45 times bigger. And when you're zoomed in, you can also change the color as well. And when you're zoomed very close and you quite don't know where you are anymore, you can press and hold the orange button to go back to one-time zoom. So you see your entire books and it goes back to where you were. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna show you the far view now. So I have a camera on the back that I'm gonna pull out. And I've put a Lego box at the end of my room. So we can again move to look at an object that is very far. And we can focus on it, even read little scripts from something that is very far from us. Okay, Eric, do we have any questions on near view and far view?
Up to now, we're all good.
We're good. Okay, so I'm going to go into the advanced mode.
Please do. If you have any questions, you can use the chat to type in your questions, and I'll read them out to Natalie, or I can answer them, or vice versa. So please use a chat to ask any questions. Don't be shy. We're here for that.
Okay, so for my advanced mode, I switch the third button and I am brought to my intelligent reveal 16i. So I have the carousel that you may know with a few options. So I'm going to start with the camera option to capture images. And what we can do is to see it right away or to bring them into the gallery to work with them later on. So on here you have the back button, the capture button, the document button to capture either one page or multi-capture. And you have a shortcut to the gallery. So again, I'm going to use my same book in colors.
So Natalie, there's a little question that just popped up here
Yes.
in the Q&A. When using the distance view, is it best to have the focus locked or unlocked?
Oh, I didn't try it with the focus lock. Maybe Eric, you can help us?
Well, let's try it. Let's when you go into, no, you're wrong button. Okay, that's good. So
Yeah,
if you go into distance, right, and let's say we zoom in on that box that you have right there, and yeah, that's good. And then let's say when Natalie was talking about the buttons at the beginning of the webinar, she was saying that the second button from the left is your lock button, right? So that's your lock button when you're doing close up or near view. But when you're doing a distance viewing, if you hit that button, so we're going to click on that. Okay,
yes,
the little lock is going to show up on top on the top right corner, and try to do a zoom right now on the device.
doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So that means that the images has been frozen. So let's say a teacher or somebody in front presenting, and they're going pretty fast, and you want the student or the person using the device to take their time and maybe assimilate the information that's there. You can freeze that image. And then you can whatever you want right now with the image without being affected. If you click on the button again, it's going to unfreeze the image, and then you can start zooming in or zooming out, or then turning the camera and having something else seen at distance. So that's a different kind of way of using that button in distance mode. So there's no autofocus in distance mode, to answer your question. Your autofocus will be locked when you're going to be at near mode. So if you go back to near mode, so Natalie, let's just flip that camera back down, put a document underneath, and then we can lock the autofocus with the same button. Now I can still zoom in, but the focus is always going to be at that same level of the document.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so now let's go back to the intelligence of the Reveal 16i. So I was at the capture mode, so I'm back where I left off. Let me take a picture. This is a sun. That's not a reflection because we have polarized lenses, so it never makes reflection on books. This is a kid's book, so they're very nice and glossy. But this is a sun written on draw on each pages, so it's not a reflection. So I'm going to be capturing this image. So it captures the image, analyzes it, and makes an OCR of it. So it can later on be read, saved, and we can use it to work if ever it's an assignment. So let me save it in the gallery for further use. Usually when it's saved with one of the first few words of the text. So if I enlarge it, we see she focused on the way. So probably it's going to be saved as the file name focused. So I can have it read to us by pressing on the word. I can stop by hard pressing again, or I can use the play button. Yeah, here. I can also work on something I captured right away or in the gallery. So if I use my pen, I can make a modification on it. I have lots of options. I can change the color of the pens. I have a few colors. I can change the thickness of the line. I can erase what I just did. And I can also use a marker or text. If I want to write something in text, I simply press here, take either my virtual keyboard, or I can plug in a regular keyboard in the USB key at the right. So let's write something. Done. It's right here. So I can move it, enlarge it, and I can also erase it in the back. Okay, so let's go back to capture a document with multi-pages. Gonna take a novel. Okay, so here it is. So I took a novel and I'm gonna be taking the pages 2 by 2. It's gonna save it, works the OCR on it. So I'm gonna be able to read it like I did for the one page only. Sorry, I didn't press the button multi-page. Let me go back. So here I have the option of doing only one page or doing a multi-capture. So the computer did not know that I was going to want to do a multi-capture. So let me start over again. So this is my first page. I capture it. So it saves the first page with OCR, and I'm going to be able to move it in the gallery or work on it at this place. So now place page 2. Just going to flip the page and capture the second page. Yeah. So the unit is very intuitive. Like I just told you at the beginning, I was really new and I could realize what type of mistake I made very fast because you have all the options that are going to be used set up for you. Okay, so I'm finished with that. So let me go back and I'm going to go in the gallery, although I'm not sure I saved it. Oh, yes, there it is. So it is from the novel Grace. And at the top of each pages, there's the word Grace, Stir It Up. So I see here a binder, Grace. I click on it. and I see the 2 pages that I captured and save. And from this place, I can again read it. Stop. Yeah, it doesn't stop. But I can write on the page as well. So I can use all the same functions I showed you at the capture level. Erase, everything like that. Well, erase. There you go. Okay, if I go back here, I see focused. I see the first page I capture from the kids book, and here again I can read it. The reason I see it in white is because I have diamond edge option on, and that's the option to use to have it read to you. Okay. Previously, I saved 2 math documents, one with quadrants, because it's really nice for kids to have their documents. Let me get out of diamond and be in regular color so I can see better what I have. So I have quadrants and my question. So if I want to put 3 minus 4, I take my pen, I go 1, 2, 3 minus 4. It's right here. I can use the text to write the letter. So here it's going to be letter H, done. So I've placed my other coordinates. Let's go back to the other document. I saved the document with areas. So let's get out of diamond edge in colors. I could also have gone with the settings. Here I see diamond edge always on request. So that's how I could have changed it. And so I have here the shape, and we can teach a kid if you want to calculate the area of a shape like that, you put a line, you calculate the first half, the other half. So it's very easy to work in the gallery for any problems. Okay, so I think I covered everything in the gallery. Eric, do we have any questions about the gallery?
There's no question on the gallery. I'm going
No.
to turn on my video here. There we go. I think everybody can see me. What I will do is that I want to show you, there's a little question here that somebody asked, is the Reveal 16i comes with an XY table. And I just want to show you here. I have a Reveal 16 with me, and the Reveal 16, my Reveal 16 has the XY table. So yes, you have an option of having the Reveal 16i with the XY table, or it's the same XY table that I have here on my Reveal 16. The Reveal 16 is everything that you can do on live mode. You don't have the Prodigi, what all the intelligence that you're that Nally is demonstrating right now. It doesn't have this. This is the basic model, but you can, yes, have the XY table on here, on your Reveal 16 or your Reveal 16i. And yes, there's an extra cost to that. And depending on which country or which part of the world you are, you can refer to the website. But in the US, it's, if I remember, it's a $500 US dollars for extra for an XY table.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to go into the Bookshare. There are some options that are available in the gallery that I didn't show yet, but it's regarding the reading mode. We can read in full page, in column. We can have the speed adjusted. And this is something available in the gallery as well as the bookshare. So I'm going to be showing you those options in the bookshelves, but they apply to both applications. So here's the book section. So you have a library where you download your books and you keep them. Otherwise, you can search by books either by periodicals, populars, or search books. In my library, I already downloaded the Harry Potter book, or one of the Harry Potter book, and I'm going to be downloading another one. I'm going to look by title. So I'm going to take the same book as I had before, Grace from the okay, I made a mistake. Whoops. I think I clicked done. Yeah. Back. Grace. Search. Okay, so we have all the books from Grace, the American Girl. I'm going to take the first one, which is the Girl of the Year. So I see it's the right book. I download it by pressing the download button. It's the the third button from the left. It's downloading, and it's going to be in my library with the Harry Potter book. So when I go back to my library, here it is. I have the two books that are there. So let me take the Harry Potter book. So I can do like I did in the gallery, start reading it by pressing on a word, stopping it, or using the button here. Let me click on the button. And I can also have access to all the chapters. If I want to skip to the 5th chapter, I click here. I'm already brought in the book in a certain place. If we're reading and we want to accelerate the speed of the reading or slow it down, we swipe left to right or right to left to slow down. Okay, let's stop. And we have access to novels, which I downloaded, but we also have access to kids' book or math book or school book. So it's easy to have them in the same library. That's about it for the library. Let's go back to the carousel and see that we have a calculator. So we have two calculators. This one is the easy calculator. But if I go into the settings, I have access to two modes, the standard mode and the scientific mode. So if I go back, you will see that I have two arrows added there. So I still have my easy calculator, but I have all other functions that are available if I take the scientific calculator. So if I want to calculate, let's say the root of 25, but I think it's the opposite I have to do. No, that's the right one. So I get 5. So by using both planes, I can have a scientific calculator. Okay, let's go back to my carousel. So we've seen the calculator, we've seen the book, the camera, gallery. In the settings, we have a few settings that we can use. Either have the audio on, always on, or for speech only. We can also change the interface. What I had was the standard interface, but we also can have symbol interface. And by doing that, we have less options and only one page. So it could be easier for early learners to have the simple version of the interface. Okay, I can change also, that's where I change my color, black and white, my locators, the brightness, and all the functionalities I want to have. If I go back to my carousel, Here it is. At the end, I have a help button. If I press on this help button, I have a direct access to all the webinars and the help you can have for the Reveal 16i. And to go back, you take the circle, you click on the circle, and it brings you back to the carousel. You have twice a year updates for the software. So there's one coming very soon. And when you log in, you will be noticed that there is an update coming. I think I covered everything, Eric. Do we have more questions?
We do have a couple of questions. So the first one is when I modify a document, can I undo changes by steps like in regular editor? Now, you can't undo, but you can erase something that you did, which Natalie is going to show here.
Yeah. So if I could have taken my math document from before, but if I write something, I can use the eraser and go back on it, and it erases what I did. It works the same way whether I use a pen, a marker, or some text. Because here, if I use some text, I'm sorry, the text, I want to write some text here. Let me enter some text. Done. The text is right here. I can change color, have the text in red. Maybe it's going to be easier to see. And then I can erase it. So that's how much undo we can do.
So again, the erase, you use it while having the rate editor mode. So you saw Natalie doing tapping on the second button from the left, which toggle from a pencil, from a text, or to a highlighter. So you need to select the right one. So if I want to erase the pencil markings on my book, then what you do is that you select the pencil, then you select the eraser. If I just want to erase the text that was entered with a virtual keyboard or with a physical keyboard, then you have to select the big T on that loop on the button and then select the eraser. It's only going to erase that part of the addition. Now, we had another question, which I'm going to take now. Can I buy a Reveal 16 or 69 without the XY table and then add the XY table at a later time? And will it need to come in to be installed, or can a user install it themselves? Yes, you can. You can buy the XY table, but it's you will have to bring it back in either at Humanware, where we can install it, or back to your dealer where you bought the device. Then another question here, because the Reveal 16i has a USB port, which Natalie showed you at the beginning of the webinar on the right-hand side of the screen. Could I use it with a mouse connected and perform all its operations? I'm thinking of learners whom are physically impaired and at the same time low vision. So Natalie, I'm gonna let you answer that because I see that Natalie's plugging in a physical keyboard, a USB keyboard, and yes, the mouse, if you plug in a mouse, it will act the same way. It will act as an ordinary mouse would do. So I'm gonna let it to Natalie.
Okay, very good. So first of all, the screen can go very low if you want to place it for a small kid. So I don't know if this will help. And it is a touch screen. So it's possible to move things around, pinch. So there's a lot of things that can be done on the screen directly since it's a touch screen, but you can do it with a mouse as well. I'm going to go back here, my text, enlarge it so you can see. I'm going to type, this is a regular keyboard. I just bought large stickers at the rehabilitation center and stick it on top of the keyboard. So it is a regular keyboard that anybody has at home. If I want to type, I choose text with the typing mode, but, and then I can type directly on my keyboard, enter, use the airplane, and here I typed it here. So you can use a mouse pad, a keyboard, but you can move the screen a lot to have it closer to a children. Okay. Do you have anything else, Eric?
Perfect. Thank you, Natalie. So like Natalie demonstrated, this is very nice for kiddos also, but it was also designed in mind with the senior population, somebody that does not move around a lot and keeps it in the house, so you can fold it and carry it from place to place. In a school environment, it could be a bit harder for a younger student to bring along, but it's still feasible. There is a carrying case that can come with it. Now, and let's see here, we got another question. Like with the Prodigy Connect 12, when in distance view, can I write on hard copy documents by splitting the screen into two sections?
No.
Could the reveal also do this? Unfortunately, the reveal cannot do that uh, just because we're using two different operating systems. Prodigy is working on the Android part of things, and the camera or the distance viewing camera works on another operating system to allow us to tweak the image quality that comes out from that camera. Now, in future versions, what you will be able to see on the Reveal 16i is a capture of a distance from the distance viewing camera. So you'll be able to not only freeze the image at distance, but also capture and then store it inside the gallery. So maybe you can maybe add some text to it or edit it, or maybe have an OCR done with it or something like that. So that's in further development. That's going to be coming along, but for now, I'm going to say no, it will not be possible to split the screen into two right now. Maybe things could change in the future, but now it's not possible. Let's see here. Does the USB port read and upload files, or is it just to plug in a keyboard? Also, can I save a file to USB? You want to answer this, Natalie?
I'm not sure on that version. I
Okay.
will let you answer. I know for the next version.
Well, right now, like Natalie says, we'll have a new version of Prodigy 4.3, which is going to come out next week. So stick around. Next webinar, next Monday, we'll be talking about the new features on the Prodigy Connect 12, but we'll also be included in the Reveal 16i. So each time that the Connect 12 has an update, the Reveal 16i will have an update. So that makes sense because we're using the same Prodigy software. But yes, so the Connect 12 can read and write to a USB thumb key, and the Reveal 16i can also do the same thing. And that port on the side of the screen can read and write to a USB key also. So I can bring in some files from the exterior. So let's say I would have a PDF on my thumb key, plugging it on the side of the screen. And then unfortunately right now you have to go back to Android, get a file browser, but in 4.3, next version next week, which you'll get on the Reveal 16i, you'll do that in Prodigy completely. So you'll have it, you'll be able to import and export files directly from Prodigy and into Prodigy. So that's going to be feasible next week. Yes.
Just want to make a correction, Eric, on the date you said. You said that next Monday we're going to have a webinar. It's next Wednesday. So every
Yep.
Wednesday at noon, we have webinars on low vision products. And we're going to introduce the new version of Prodigy next Wednesday at noon.
Thank you,
Eastern time.
Natalie. Sorry for my mistake. Good. So I'm going to let you continue. Natalie, you have anything else to say, or you want me to take over? I can talk a bit also.
No, I have nothing else. If you have something to add, please feel
Yeah.
free.
So I have a question for you, Natalie. How would a student or somebody that would be assisting in a meeting would switch from the distance viewing camera to the near viewing camera very quickly?
Very quickly.
Yeah, can you show the camera the distance? In other words, can you show the
Yes,
camera, the distance camera in the back of that screen so that we can all see it, and
yes.
also show how we can pivot that camera?
Yeah, let me move my camera in the back. So the distance camera is right here. So you lift it and you can pivot it to see anywhere. And to hide it, you just put it back here and you're back to near view. So it's very easy. And if you can see my arms, I just reach over the screen. So it's not far. Does that answer the question?
Absolutely. Now you can bring the screen down a bit so that you have access more easily to that distance camera. Just move it down. There you go, and you have access very easily to the camera in the back. And if it's really useful to have it pivot on the right and on the left hand side, because some devices out there don't do that, and you have to pivot the whole device back and forth or on the right or left. So there's a question here, does the distance camera allow for OCR? Unfortunately, not in this version, but in the future versions, there is a possibility of doing so by doing a capture and then transferring it to the Prodigy system where it could have the OCR done. So I'm going to say no now, but yes in the future. So Natalie showed you all the nice buttons and all that. If we go back live, Natalie, if we hit that third button from the left and we go back to our live mode, there's also another hidden menu to configure some specific stuff in the live mode, which is the long press on the contrast button.
Just trying to have some text. Press. Oh,
So you
yes.
got a couple of settings there. I'm going to turn off my camera so you're the one that will show the camera and talk a bit about the options that we have here. The first one would be lines and blinds to activate one or the other.
Yeah. So if we activate blinds, we're going to have some more adjustment. And here I have my book under the camera. We can adjust the blinds. Some people need to have blinds in order to be more concentrate on one place or not to be overblown by the light if they're reading something very faint. Blinds. I'm sorry, Eric. I don't know how to
That's
go
okay.
back
So
to.
so now you have the line selected. So
Yeah.
you would go back to adjust. So you can adjust the line up and down, same
Okay.
as the
Oh, okay.
blinds. So you would have the adjustment on top or where you want the line. And once you're done, you just click on that orange button. And once you're done that, you hit the contrast button to go back
Okay. One more time.
and back.
Okay. So I'm back in my text with the line. Okay. Very good.
Exactly, and we can continue on the options that are available in there. Usually you press about 5 seconds on that button, press and hold 5 seconds on that button to get access to that menu. And the reason is that usually people set it to a certain setup and then leave it like that. So these are kind of like hidden menu. And then if you go to contrast,
If I press contrast.
no, go back once, yeah. Yeah, press on contrast, please.
Okay. Contrast. Oh.
I'm seeing that on Facebook Live is that when I'm talking, you only see me, so I'm not seeing your video.
Okay.
Let me try something here. Okay, so let's try this here. So Now you're in enable contrast. In
Mm-hmm.
enable contrast, when you click on the orange
Oops.
button on the color that you want, there'll be a checkbox that will appear. And in that, when that checkbox appears, that means that it will be added to your contrast button. So you're going to loop through all of those contrast colors. So we've added a couple more colors. So if you go back using the contrast button, pressing on the, again, going back in live and using that contrast button, you'll see that the colors have been added to that loop. So I'm just going to turn off my. Perfect. And then once you're done using it, very easy to fold the device.
Yeah.
And if Natalie can do a little demonstration here. Sorry, I don't have a Reveal 16i with me at home, so that's why Natalie took over here.
Okay, so I
So,
just fold it inside. Pull it. There it is, ready to go again.
perfect. And then you see those two big handles on the top of the device. That's where you grab it with the both hands. That's where you would grab it. It
Carry
puts
it.
it puts a weight all through the device, so it doesn't seem heavy and it's easier to carry. And again, to open it, you have those big, nice handles on the top there to open the device. Perfect. And that button is illuminated in red when it's off and illuminated in green when it's on. And that switch button is to go back and forth. You can also have a battery with the Reveal 16 or the Reveal 16i, which is connected in the back. So if we turn the device around, there we go. Perfect. That little box right there, yeah, that's where the battery goes. So it's a pretty big battery that you can put in there. And the battery life is going to last you a good 7 to 8 hours, depending on what you do. But let's say we have the lights open and you're doing OCR and doing magnification, and the lights are always on and everything's on, the Wi-Fi is on. It's going to last you a good 6 to 7 hours at least. So it's a pretty big battery, pretty nice value added to this to the device. You can also use a stylus. Now Natalie used her finger, but you can also use any stylus on it. And there's also a protective membrane that can come in the box to reduce the reflectiveness of the screen. So I have a little hand that's up here.
Yeah.
So
I just
somebody
want to
maybe can
say I
hand.
have an hourglass because I turned off my CCTV, my reveal, and when I turn it back on to have access to the intelligent, it takes a few seconds to download.
Yeah, so if you have that hourglass that is on, that means that Android is booting in the back. So you can hit that 2 hour button if you want again, Nally, and you're gonna go back to live mode. There we go.
Yeah.
And you can come back later on.
Yeah.
So I have somebody that has a hand up, so I'm gonna allow you to talk. This is Oscar.
Hi, Oscar. Oh, you're.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. You have a
Wait.
question?
Yes. So does this unit have like screen reader? You know, for like low vision blind people. Does this have like built-in screen reader?
Uh, what do you mean by buttons? Would you like to use a braille
Voiceover.
display on it or voiceover?
What I mean is like like the screen reader which like talks to you. Is what I'm talking about is it's a bit like voiceover or I don't know.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So you do have talkback. I'm just going to mute you here. I think I understand your question. If not, I'll unmute you again. So I think the question is, you have like voiceover, and you do have voiceover, and it's the talkback, which is the same voiceover as in iOS or Apple devices, but in Android it's called talkback. So if you do a press and hold on the screen, uh, uh, Yeah, press and hold. No, press and hold on 5
5
fingers, press and hold, sorry. You'll go back into the Android part of things if it's loaded. There we go. And then here, yes, you go into all applications, which is a button on the complete right. And you're going to go and get settings in that menu. Yeah. And then in settings, you'll have a possibility of activating TalkBack and all kinds of accessibility feature that Android offers. So if you go down that list, you'll see an accessibility menu. There we go, it's right there. Perfect. And then in that menu, you have TalkBack. So when TalkBack is active, you can use gestures. You can use gestures to navigate and have it talk back to you, which everything on the screen will talk back to you. But there's also magnification that can be activated on here. So I see that your mic is unmuted. You have another question or maybe clarify what I'm saying?
Yeah, so can you like show us like how it like sounds like when you
How
enable?
it sounds like? Yeah, so let's try it, Natalie. I think Natalie's going to be a first time for her to try this.
Yeah.
So you tap on it, you activate it.
I activate it.
Yeah, just you know where the off is you know
yeah.
where it's, yeah, there we go. Now here, that's a screen that's going to tell you what to do and how to operate it. So you click OK. I think you're going to have to increase the volume here, and the volume in Android is going to be, yeah, that button right there, Natalie, contrast button. I don't know if we're going to hear a lot, but there we go. Okay, so let's try it. So let's
TalkBack is a screen reader primarily for people with blindness and low vision. It allows interaction with the device using spoken feedback. TalkBack tutorial. Music volume set to 100%.
Does that answer your question, Oscar?
Lesson 1,
Whoops.
basic navigation, swiping,
Sorry.
exploring, active, TalkBack off.
Hi, Oscar. Does it answer your question?
Sorry?
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. So this is similar to like Braille No Touch or Android phone, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same TalkBack as the Braille No Touch. Yeah, so the same TTS, same voice.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's see if we have any other questions. You guys have any questions? We have about 10 minutes. Raise your hand. I can allow you to talk just like Oscar did. Thank you for that question, or use the Q&A or the chat in the application, and we can address that. And Natalie, let's show the accessibility again, and I'll show you. I like to activate the gestures on there. So if you do a 5-finger press and hold on the screen, go back into Android, go back into settings, and we'll go to accessibility again. And here in that list, you should see something called magnification gestures right there. Is it on already? Okay, so it's
Yes,
on.
it's already on.
So what you do with that is that if you do a triple tap, it's going to magnify everything. There we go. And then you can use a pinch and zoom.
Whoops.
No.
Yeah.
No, you do a triple tap again. Do a triple tap. Okay, so I think now you're in the tutorial somewhere. Once you you do the triple tap, it's going to magnify everything. And if you want to pan, you're going to use 2 fingers on the screen to pan, and you can use a the gesture pinch and zoom once you're zoomed in also. So that really helps a lot. So we have another question here from Kyle. He has a raised hand. All right, Kyle, I think you can unmute yourself and oh, cannot hear you. Okay, Kyle, we can't hear you at all. Maybe use the Q&A if it doesn't work. No.
Oh.
I can't hear anything. So use a Q&A. Sorry, Kyle. And Kyle is from Edit Micro in South Africa.
I can hear Jaws in the back though, so he's trying to find it. Oh, he's muted now. Oh, try it again, Kyle. You're not muted anymore.
It
No,
doesn't
I
seem to
don't
work.
hear anymore.
Okay, so we have another question from Oscar here.
Can you like
Okay.
install apps as if you was using like Android phone? Like, can you like use this as like exactly like the phone, or is this like only for?
Exactly. You can use this as the phone. So if we go back, Natalie,
Yeah.
Interesting.
you can use to go back. You can use the gray button, which is a contrast button. You can tap on it. That acts as a back button, and your home button is your orange button when you're into Android. So you click on that, you come back to Prodigi. Let's go back to Android, Natalie.
Okay.
By finger press and hold. And here, let's go back. So use that back button that I just showed you, the contrast button. No. Move your finger at the bottom, the contrast button at the bottom. Again, the physical button. Physical, yeah,
Okay.
right
Yeah.
there. No, don't turn it. That's the volume, but press on it.
I'll press on it.
Yeah, it's going to act as a back button again. There we
Oh.
go. So we're back into Android desktop, and you have a Play Store. I don't know if you see the Play Store. You can tap on that. And if you have a Google account, you can have access to any application that you would have access on a tablet, Android tablet, or an Android phone. So you can download Excel, Word, Angry Birds, or any kind of games that you want also. I think the Braille Note Touch does the same thing, if I'm not mistaken, Oscar, if you know the Braille Note Touch.
This is amazing. You know, you can like switch between almost two operating system. You know.
Exactly, and that's what I said. There's two operating systems, one for the right camera vision or the right quality image, and then you have the whole full suite of Android. This is Android 7.0, so it's pretty accurate. It's pretty it's one of the recent ones, so the accessibility is really nice, and you have access to all kinds of application, videos, YouTube, and all these applications that you would have on an ordinary tablet.
So how much is costing?
It all depends on which part of the world you're in, but in the US, it's
Because I'm in London at the moment, you know.
you're in the London area. I don't have the prices by heart, but do go on. I invite you to go and visit our website, humanware.com, and it will detect where you are in the world and will give you the right prices. And then there's a contact information. We do have offices in Rushden, in England, so a bit north of London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the question. I really appreciate all these human life meetings. Yeah, they are really big pleasure.
Well, thank you very much for attending and asking questions and participating. This is why we do this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. So Kyle asked the question on the Q&A. Could I copy text from Android mode into Prodigi mode, whether it may be from the internet or any text-based app? Absolutely, you can do that. So we can do a little demo if you want, Natalie.
Yes.
Let's start Chrome and go on the internet. Let's find a Wikipedia of something here. I don't know,
Okay.
top of my head.
Chrome. Whoops.
I don't know. Let's search something that is well, Wikipedia of let's search for coronavirus, just because we're talking so much about that virus.
Okay. Wikipedia. Go.
And again, you can use voice commands on this. You can activate Google commands and use voice to do that. So is there any Wikipedia on that, or maybe text that we can highlight? So let's select that there. Perfect. Okay, so let's select the text. So what you're going to do, Natalie, is that you see that word "the," which is the first one on top. Yeah. Press and hold that word. There we go. So we got markers that are enabled. So use the marker that is on your right-hand side. And then,
Here?
no, the marker, the blue marker.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And stretch.
Press and hold and then stretch it. Stretch it, go towards the right and down. There we go. Let's take that full paragraph. Perfect. Okay, you can lift your finger and select copy. Perfect. Then you're going to hit that orange button.
Here.
We're going to go back to Prodigi. Perfect. Now we're going to go into our gallery. Gallery. And then you're going to swipe again. You're going to swipe again left again. There we go. We got a folder called text. So go in there. And then there's a big icon called paste. So paste. Click on that. And the text that we just copied from Android will be pasted in our Prodigi. Now you can have that play button to play the text for us.
The 2019 to 20 coronavirus pandemic is an ongoing pandemic of corona.
And you do have all the settings to change the colors if you want, the page mode and all that. But if you hit the back button, it's going to be saved automatically into that folder.
Yeah.
So I got a text that is pandemic. So let's say I'm in a part of the world that doesn't have the right language installed on my Reveal 16i. I can use that to have Prodigi read it out loud to me if I have the right voice installed on Prodigi. That was a good example. Thank you, Kyle. Okay, so our time's up. Thank you very much for attending. And this was awesome. I love all the questions. I love your participation on these webinars. And I think I speak from all of HumanWare team. We love doing these webinars. We love helping you guys get the information because we're all stuck at home, and maybe you're a student that like to have some schoolwork done and talk to your teachers. This is the way to go with it. You can't do that with a normal CCTV or a normal magnifier. So these intelligent CCTVs now are getting the attention because you can connect to the internet, you can do all your homework, you can do your assignments, and maybe it's work related. Now everybody works from home. Maybe you want to connect to work and using only one device. You don't need a laptop and a CCTV anymore. You have both in one device. So be sure to tune in next week, next Wednesday. Next Wednesday at noon Eastern time, and we'll have a surprise for you guys. If you log in, we'll have a draw. And right now what I'm thinking as a draw is you would have a one-on-one session with a product manager, a 30-minute one-on-one session with the product manager, so you can ask away all the questions you want to that product manager. Would it be low vision, maybe myself, the director, to have maybe an insight on what's coming at HumanWare as new devices. And also I'll try to get a device. I'll try to get an Explore 8 to draw in the next webinar to have you more participate and to have it more fun, make these webinars fun. So be sure to tune in next week. Natalie and I will be there, and again to answer all your nice questions and get the knowledge out. And we'll talk about the new features of this amazing software, which is Prodigi, on the Connect 12 and on the Reveal 16i. Thank you very much. Natalie, any last words?
No, thank you very much, everybody. See you Wednesday at noon Eastern time.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.